Hello and welcome. In this video, we will read the chapter In the Kingdom of Fools. I will read it paragraph by paragraph and then explain it in very simple language. I will also tell you the meanings of difficult words. So let's start. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. They didn't want to run things like other kings, so they decided to change night into day and day into night. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night, till their fields, and run their businesses only after dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. Difficult words, idiots, very foolish people, delighted, very happy, disobeyed, did not follow orders. Explanation. In this kingdom, the king and minister were foolish. Unlike other rulers, they made a strange rule. People must work at night and sleep during the day. If anyone disobeyed, they would be killed. People obeyed because they were afraid. The king and minister were happy that their plan worked. One day, a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. Everyone was asleep, not a mouse stirring. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. Difficult words, disciple, student, broad daylight, full daylight, stirring, moving, amazed, very surprised, wandered, walked without direction. Explanation. A guru and his disciple came to the city. It was daytime, but the streets were empty because everyone was asleep, even animals. They were surprised and walked around until evening. Then suddenly the whole city woke up and started working at night. The two men were hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dudu. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost a dudu. The guru and his disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. Difficult words, groceries, food items, astonishment, great surprise, measure, a fixed quantity, dudu, a small coin. Explanation. The guru and disciple were hungry, so they went to the shops. To their
Everything here
surprise,
costs only
everything,
one dudu.
rice,
One
bananas, or
dudu.
anything else,
Oh,
cost
wonderful.
just one dudu. They were very happy because food was extremely cheap. When they had cooked and eaten, the guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay there. "This is no place for us. Let's go," he said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good, cheap food. The guru said, "They are all fools. This won't last very long. and you can't tell what they'll do to you next. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, "Do what you want. I'm going," and left. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side sacred bull. Difficult words, realized, understood, wisdom, knowledge, good advice, ate his fill, ate as much as he wanted, sacred, holy, respected. Explanation: after eating, the Guru understood that this was a land of fools, and living there was dangerous. He advised his disciple to leave, but the disciple refused because he loved cheap food. The Guru warned him that foolishness never lasts, and they could face danger any time. The disciple ignored him and stayed, eating a lot of food daily, and became very fat. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in, and as he was carrying out his loot, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good, strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice." Difficult words: merchant, trader, sneaked, entered secretly, loot, stolen goods, collapsed, fell down suddenly, pursuing, following, ancient trade, old profession, compensate, to give something for loss, injustice, unfair treatment. One day, a thief entered a rich man's house by making a hole in the wall. While stealing, the weak wall fell and killed him. The thief's brother complained to the king, saying the merchant was guilty for not building a strong wall. He demanded punishment and compensation. The king said, "Justice will be done. Don't worry," and at once summoned the owner of the house. Difficult words: justice, fairness, summoned, officially called. Explanation: the king promised justice and immediately called the rich merchant to the court. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, "What's your name?" "Such and such, Your Highness." "Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house?" "Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him." The accused pleads guilty. "Your wall killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you." Difficult words: burgled, robbed, weak, not strong, accused, person blamed, pleads guilty, admits the crime, murdered, killed. Explanation: the merchant came to court. The king asked his name and if he was home when the thief broke in. The merchant admitted that the thief died because the wall was weak. The foolish king immediately said that the merchant was guilty of murder and must be punished. "Lord," said the helpless merchant, "I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He didn't build it right. You should punish him." Who is that? My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man now. He lives nearby. Difficult words, helpless, without power, fault, mistake, nearby, close. Explanation. The merchant begged that it wasn't his fault. He said the real mistake was of the man who had built the weak wall long ago during his father's time. He told the king that the builder was still alive and lived nearby. The king sent out messengers to bring in the bricklayer who had built the wall. They brought him, tied hand and foot. You there, did you build this man's wall in his father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. What kind of a wall is this that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. You've murdered him. We have to punish you by death. Difficult words, messengers, people who deliver orders, bricklayer, person who builds walls with bricks, accused, blamed, punished by death, give death sentence. Explanation. The king ordered his messengers to bring the bricklayer. They tied him up and brought him to court. The king accused him of making a weak wall, which caused a man's death, so he should be punished with death. Before the king could order the execution, the poor bricklayer pleaded, "Please listen to me before you give your orders. It's true I built this wall and it was no good, but that was because my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down that street all day with her anklets jingling, and I couldn't keep my eyes or my mind on the wall I was building. You must get that dancing girl. I know where she lives." Difficult words, execution, killing as punishment, pleaded, begged, anklets, ornaments worn on ankles, jingling, ringing sound, distracted, disturbed, not focused. Explanation. Before the king gave the death order, the bricklayer begged for a chance to explain. He admitted the wall was badly made, but he said it happened because he was distracted. A young dancing girl kept walking up and down the street with her jingling anklets, and he couldn't concentrate. He said the king should call her. You are right. The case deepens. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer wherever she is. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. So you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him, so he built a bad wall. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You've killed an innocent man. You'll have to be punished. Difficult words, complicated, hard to understand, trembling, shaking with fear, anklets, ornaments worn around the ankle, jingling, making a metallic sound, distracted, unable to focus, innocent, not guilty. The king admitted the case was becoming complicated and said they must investigate more. He ordered the dancer to be brought. The dancer, now old, entered the court trembling. The king asked if she had walked the street years ago when the wall was being built. She agreed. The king accused her of distracting the bricklayer with her jingling anklets, which made him build a weak wall. The wall later collapsed and killed a burglars. So the king declared that she must be punished for causing the death of an innocent man. She thought for a minute and said, "My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was lazy, a scoundrel. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times. That was when this bricklayer saw me. It's not my fault, my lord. It's the damned goldsmith's fault." Difficult words. Jewelry. Ornaments made of precious metals or stones. Goldsmith. A person who makes objects from gold. Scoundrel. A dishonest or bad man. Excuses. Reasons to avoid responsibility. Dozen. 12. Damned. Used to strongly blame. The dancer paused to think and then explained the real reason for walking on that street. She said she had given gold to a goldsmith to make jewelry, but he was lazy and dishonest, giving excuses again and again. He delayed her work and made her go to his house many times in one day. That was when the bricklayer noticed her walking. So she argued that it was not her fault, but the goldsmith's fault. Poor thing. She is absolutely right, thought the king, weighing the evidence. We've got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding, at once. The king's bailiff searched for the goldsmith, who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. "My lord," he said, "I am a poor goldsmith. It's true I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are." Difficult words. Culprit. The guilty person. Bailiffs. Officers of the court. Accusation. A change of wrongdoing. Impatient. Not willing to wait. Evidence. Proof. The king felt pity for the dancer and believed her words. He declared that the true culprit was the goldsmith and ordered his men to find him. The king's officers searched and caught the goldsmith, who was hiding in his shop. When accused, the goldsmith defended himself. He admitted that he made the dancer come many times, but explained that it was because he was busy completing the orders of a rich merchant for a wedding. He said rich people were impatient and could not wait for their work. "Who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry, made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on an innocent man and killed him? Can you name him?" The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. Now justice had come full circle, thought the king, back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I'm innocent." Difficult words. Merchant, a trader, businessman, distracted, diverted, unable to focus, rudely, without respect, summoned, called to appear, innocent, not guilty. The king then asked the goldsmith to name the rich merchant who caused all this trouble by delaying the jewelry. The goldsmith revealed the merchant's name, and it turned out to be the very same man who owned the house where the wall had collapsed. The king felt that justice had returned to the starting point, back to the merchant. The merchant was called to the court, and he cried that it was not his fault but his father's. His father, now dead, had given that order for the jewelry. He pleaded that he was innocent. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. "It's true your father is the true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You've inherited everything from that criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sins. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die." Difficult words. Decisively, firmly, without doubt, inherited, received from parents after death. Criminal, a person guilty of crime. Execution, killing as punishment. Impaling, piercing the body with a sharp stake. The king talked with his minister and gave a strict judgment. He said that although the merchant's father was the real murderer, the son must be punished because he had inherited both his father's wealth and sins. The king declared that the merchant must die, so he ordered a new stake for execution. But when the stake was prepared, the minister noticed that the merchant was too thin to be properly executed. He told the king about this problem, and the king also became worried. "What shall we do?" he said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit the stake, and their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. "What have I done wrong? I'm innocent. I'm sannyasi," he cried. "That may be true, but it's the royal decree that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake," they said, and carried him to the place of execution. Difficult words. Decree, an official order. Disciple, student or follower of a guru. Sannyasi, a Hindu holy man. Fattened, made fat. Explanation. The king wondered what to do, and then an idea came to him. They only needed to find a man who was fat enough for the stake. So the servants searched the whole town until they found the disciple who had become very fat by eating bananas, rice, wheat, and ghee. They caught him and took him away for execution, even though he cried that he was innocent and a holy man. The servants replied that the royal order was to find a fat man, so he must be punished. He remembered his wise guru's words. This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple, who had got himself into such a scrape through love of food. Difficult words, vision, a supernatural sight or dream. Scrape, a difficult or dangerous situation. Disciple, student or follower. Guru, a spiritual teacher. Explanation. The disciple then remembered his guru's warning that this was a city of fools and nobody could guess what they might do. As he waited for death, he silently prayed to his guru to come and save him. The guru, who had magical powers and could see everything, past, present, and future, saw his disciple's trouble. He immediately came to rescue him because the disciple had landed in danger due to his greed for food. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. Then he went to the king and addressed him, O wisest of kings, who is greater, the guru or the disciple? Of course, the guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask? Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me. Difficult words, scolded, spoke angrily to correct. Whisper, speak very softly. Addressed, spoke formally to someone. Disciple, follower, student. Explanation. When the guru reached the place, he first scolded his disciple and whispered something secretly to him. After that, he went to the king and asked a clever question. Who was greater, the guru or the disciple? The king immediately replied that the guru was greater. Hearing this, the guru requested that he should be executed first, and only after him should his disciple be killed. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, Me first! You brought me here first! Put me to death first, not him! The guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the guru, Why do you want to die? We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake. Difficult words, clamor, loud shouting or demand. Puzzled, confused, unable to understand. Behavior, way of acting. Explanation. When the disciple heard his guru's words, he quickly understood the plan. He loudly shouted that he should be executed first since he was brought there before his guru. Both the guru and disciple then argued about who should die first. The king was confused by this strange behavior and asked the guru why he wanted to die when the disciple had been chosen for being fat enough for the stake. You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to death first, replied the guru. Why? There is some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you? Asked the Guru. The king gave him his solemn word. The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him, "Do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? We've been all over the world, but we've never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of the God of justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this country, and whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country. We are sick of our ascetic life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first, remember." Difficult words, solemn, serious, sincere, earshot, range within which someone can hear. Ascetic, simple, self denying way of life. Justice, fairness, law. Minister, important government officer. Explanation. The Guru firmly said the king should not ask such questions and should simply put him to death first. But the king felt there was a mystery and asked him to explain. The Guru asked for a promise of execution if he revealed the truth. After the king agreed, the Guru secretly told him that the stake was magical, the stake of the God of justice. Whoever died on it first would be reborn as the king, and the next would become the minister. The Guru added that both he and his disciple were tired of their holy life and wanted to enjoy ruling as king and minister. Therefore, he begged the king to keep his word and execute him first. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. He needed time, so he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in secret with his minister. It's not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and we'll be reborn as king and minister again. Holy man, do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. Difficult words, postponed, to delay something or arrange for it to happen at a later time. Stake, a large pointed stick or post on which a person is executed. Reborn, born again, a new or renewed form of life after death. The king is confused by the disciples' words and thinks deeply about them. He is selfish and fears that if the Guru and disciple die on the stake first, they will be reborn as king and minister in the next life, taking his kingdom. To prevent this, he decides that he and his minister should be the ones to be executed instead, believing they will be reborn to rule again. His minister agrees with this foolish plan. So he told the executioners, "We'll send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. Then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake." Difficult word, executioners, officials who carry out a sentence of death. The king gives a secret order to his executioners. He tells them that Two criminals will be sent to them that night, and they are to execute the first one who arrives, followed by the second without fail. He is setting up the plan for his own and his minister's execution. That night, the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. Difficult words, disguised to change one's appearance so as to conceal one's identity. Promptly, quickly, and without fail. Explanation: the king and his minister carry out their plan. They secretly go to the prison, free the guru and disciple, and then pretend to be them by wearing their clothes. Their loyal servants who are in on the plan take the disguised king and minister to the stake, where they are quickly killed. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to crows and vultures, the people panicked. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. Difficult words, panicked, experienced a sudden uncontrollable fear or anxiety. Vultures, large birds of prey that feed on dead animals. Explanation: the people of the kingdom discover what has happened. When the bodies of the executed individuals are brought down, everyone realizes it is their king and minister. The city is thrown into chaos and confusion upon this discovery. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave the town unnoticed. "We people need a king and a minister," said someone. Others agreed. They begged the guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. It didn't take many arguments to persuade the disciple, but it took longer to persuade the guru. Difficult words, mourned, felt or showed deep sorrow or regret for someone's death. Persuade, to cause someone to do something through reasoning or argument. Explanation: the people spend the night mourning the loss of their rulers and trying to decide what to do. They remember the guru and the disciple who were about to leave the city. They stop them and plead with them to stay and rule the kingdom. The disciple quickly agrees, but the guru is more difficult to convince. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they could change all the old laws. From then on, night would be night and day would be day, and you could get nothing for a to-do. It became like any other place. Difficult words, condition, a requirement that must be met before an agreement can be reached. To-do, a small coin or a term for a very small amount of money. In this context, it has become worthless. Explanation: after much convincing, the guru and the disciple agree to become the new rulers. They do so on one key condition: they must be allowed to get rid of the foolish old laws. As a result, the kingdom returns to a normal state where night is for sleeping, day is for working, and a to-do is worthless just like everywhere else. The kingdom is no longer foolish.